Okay, right on page of Samach Base. So in the middle of talking about in Kippur, that's in the expression of the union of Milas Hakot, because it's Bitla Yesh. That brings Dich Savens, and then we spoil the union from Yaakov Cotton. Finished. So finished discussing two things in cotton. That's why he started actually in the Maimah page Kuf Nuntes said the two Yeshnein Yonim. One is the Indian of Kuf Nuntes. It said it was a base for Absa. No. So the two things in the muscle of cotton. One was the cotton is the of Tzimtzum Atzmei, and the other thing is the other one of cotton, the Maknes Atzmei. The last thing we spoke about Maknes was the beetle. Oh yeah, page Kufnantes it says Miles in your cotton Shnei Inyon. One is the Indian of Tzimtzum, and the other is the Indian of Tzimtzum Gamshach Pnimis. The second one, the Indian of beetle. Now, I'm sure he starts on a third way. But the mile we see in a cotton in immature a child, an immature person, he lacks that chokhmah, that kind of chokhmah, which means the being tricky and clever. The ksiva tipakach neinish name. It says the eyes open, that because they became more wise. Cotton is a state ever shein bechet, which means that's a lashon gemara. The breath doesn't have any sin because it doesn't have the das, doesn't have the etzadas. The lack of that
base.
Kuf Samach Beis, yeah, the bottom of Kuf Samach Beis. So that's Mamshach Mile, also the Madrig, which is above Seichel, which is Ein von Seichel Mile Mishtashis. Zeo Shekosu, that's more as another pasuk. Chanechel now Pidarka, Gam Kiaskan is also a member. You have to educate, raise a child according to his way, so when he gets old, he also is not going to leave it. What is the mileage? Is stay in the childish state. It's better. It should be in a state of. It's better should be in a state of maturity. Because it's mature, Yaskin. So why lo Yasmin? Why do you saying what's the mile that lo Yasmin?
But this is talking the Peshat or?
I would say that's not pshat, but I'll be in Havana saying it. So it's what is
because I'm sorry, because it's talking about the chinuch, not about that.
Yeah. Right, but the chinuch al pidarka means according to his childish way. So why it's mashma that we don't want to leave the derech? Yeah, in Hanami, that's not pshat. It's a remes.
The way I understand.
What?
The way of the chinuch that you give, that should be staying with him.
You're right. The simple pshat is not the question. Pshat. So it's a mashma. So Yasman means that again, not pshat. It means that the derech of the nar is also something positive. So he explains that Yaskin means that it reaches the level of Chachma. maturity, which brings also wisdom. That's Pnas Yesh. So that is a feeling of Yesh, this ego there. Mashenken. Gam ki yasken, also man no ein heder chochma now. That means even when he gets chochma, gam ki yasken, shekona chochma lo yatsa man ein das heder chochma now. He still will keep the mile that he had as a child. Dark. The year by bitochen ve'emuna b'Hashem shel mile mesechlam. So what does it mean? That even when he matures, even when he becomes smarter, you'll have the bitochen and emuna, which is above seichlam. Kot nupchinas ayin, mashing chachma pchinas yesh. So according to this understanding, chachma is the level of ayin, which means it's a state of eda chachma. It's a different. It's similar to the beetle before, but a different type of beetle. Which means he doesn't have. He lacks the trickery of seichel. Kashen gacham pnas yesh. Bo makamar mashal so there's a mashal on that. What is the difference between a child and an adult? Mektanim amsagim zeim ze al ze. When children get angry at each other, ein barigas shalem mamash. So that anger is not really, it's not really strong. It doesn't have strong emotions. But kalim is and it's easy to make peace between them because their anger is not fully developed. Mashenken the person matures, fact that he's wiser and understands better doesn't allow, he's more mature, doesn't allow him to make peace. But there, klal in the kotnu, okay. So he brought in a new. It's similar to the concept of maktini matzah at a different point. It's the emunah bitoch. Because he lacks sophistication and his thinking is very simple. So that's the al-darka of a child. The child, his midas is not developed. And also the seichel. So that's why is simple. What does it mean that's a mashlar, all this? What does it mean in Avodas Hashem? The person in his own eyes should not give himself the ego. Ein basic atayah. When he gets to learn in Torah, the Mishnah says in Pekah Imam Mata Torah Arba Al Tasik Torah. One second. That the person should not look down at everybody because he learned more than everybody. Not more than others. The Henry became a mitzvah similar when he gives mitzvah, those mitzvahs when the sin of tzedakah, he has a table. Shouldn't give himself too much credit for doing mitzvahs either. Tzedakah and Torah, because he's small, he's cotton. Then he says there's a third expression of that katnus is his business should not do any trickery. It should be simple and straight. So to develop more this concept, it means in another pass in exiv. That's a person we looked it up. It's in Ishaya. That's the lashon in pass. So below pshat al pchsidus. What does it mean? Ayeh pirush or in ayeh become kvoide. Ayay means where is. What does it say? We say where is, like where I am becoming avoid it. It's high madrege. Where is this makom? Where is this space? I am considered such a man mishash the man. That's what ayay is. Vayay ba'atzmei u ashoikel v'aseifer v'amoided v'kol echad v'echad. And the pasuk says ayay shekel ayay seifer means that the madrege of ayay. Madrega for yourself, Shlomayla Mishtashlos, Shlomayla Measoga, that is he from that Madrega is the shekel sefer, the weighing and counting of your business, of your endeavors. Kain Mashacha Amunis, Neged Melo Bamunis. So it's impossible to use trickery because the Eish was the one who runs his business. So why is he going to be doing the tricks? So when he thinks about that, you'll be full of fear and awe of the Ebershter. If he realizes that everything comes from the Ebershter. The Mele says, the Mele lo yele pachad penyas alachme. It takes away the pachad, the fear of penyas alachme. That fear of that he's not going to panos because he knows that the Ebershter runs everything. Interesting. Where's the expression? Where's the expression? Let's say something. Rebbe always used to use the expression "penny asalach." I'm trying to find what's the source. I don't find any absolute source for it. I've seen some kind of Tzamachayim, Malbim. I've said because Hashem. Interesting expression. Penny asalach. The person is worried that he is not going to panos. So Mela, because he has recognizes that Ayin Shekel is safe, that all his business comes from my Lord, from Ayin, from Madrigas itself. Mela, lo yapachat v'nechzalach, v'iftar b'Hashem, and he's b'iftar b'Hashem, shu azon u'fares v'kan reim at Beit Zikin, that's the Lashon Chazal, the Rebbe that feeds and sustains all the creatures of this world, the biggest creatures, the Beit Zikin of the smallest. Melee, it doesn't have that pachad because he knows that shekel is safe. Melee, when you recognize that lo yela b'tarbos amumis, so he's not going to use trickery in business. Okay. So there's people here that again. So you have bitochen emunah b'Hashem. So because that's the thing I forgot. The bitochen and emunah. That's in other words, it's a different that we learned till now. We talk about katnus, but mamiti natzmon. Mamiti means the beetle. Here it talks about more bitochen ve'emunah. Okay, so we finished discussing with the katnus. In the b'tzeis on Mitzrayim sheba katnus. When the Eden came out of Mitzrayim, they were in that state of katnus. We said earlier, it says vayaminam. The Eden believed. They didn't have seichel and midas because they were in a state of Mitzrayim, but the Munda Pshuta was Mizgalos. Mizbal lives Mizgalos has on the Shama. Earlier in the Maimon, I explained that the Munda Pshuta they had is really these guys of Etzem and the Shama. But they were in a state of Katas. So that state of Katnos, this was the trigger and the cause that eventually they reached this high madriga of godless Meshikasu, and that's what was in the pasuk. That's what was in the pasuk. ואלה אסכם מעוני מצרים, ולארץ טבע ורחוב, ולארץ זוב וסחוב ודבש. I will take you out. I will elevate you from the state of Oni Mitzrayim, from the poverty of Mitzrayim, else they will have a says the remes. So the simple pshat is I'll take away from one place, take another place. But it says no. The pshat is the me'oini va'akat. It says Mitzrayim is zed davkish nisalo balchnes agaz v'yes. Means that's really the cause, the trigger. The Oni Mitzrayim, that is what's going to bring it to Eretz Zov Tzchor V'Dvash. The year is the Me'oini va'akat Mitzrayim. Mized davkish nisalo balchnes agaz. The year is the va'akat is gas on the sham. Because in the state of katins, this guy said someone is shomer, we said earlier. Whoopin is a beetle godel, actually was not over mitbo. We mustn't have say though, because they eat in the state of Amun Pshut and Bitochen and beetle godel. That's why they were able to have a sales nefesh. Lech tachach eba mitbo beres lezuo, we mustn't have say though. A beetle gilgilor, so that beetle is the actual kale bigler, or kale. במשך הזמן והגדולות סויד לחייב there's a rov missing here מאיר פרנס פנים is שהתחילו בסגן ויסקטנס. See eventually when he matures, it's a dead oil that shines in them in the state of bitochen in the lower level, so that's מאיר פנים is galus. That is that's the meaning of That's Chol Dvash, Gedor, the Chol Dvash, plus Ava, Tanug, which was Makamach. Chol Dvash are two types of Tainug, two types of delight, and the two Madrigas, Ava, and Ava Tanug. Bola Ze, how did they reach it? Alidea, Oini, Chnes Katnus, to the Oini Mitzrayim. Oini means Katnus, poverty and immaturity. And lack of gilui. So there was gilui on the shama that created beetle, and that beetle was a key to eventually reach the goddess. So just like it was on the shama, similar to that was also in the gilui milmaila. Gilui nainim b'yesu. It says in time of So also, Milmata, there was the Gil Etzem and the Shama to the beetle in the Munam Bitochen. And Milmaila was also a Gil of the high level of Atzmas and Sof. It's some time Kias Yams. Do a Kol Zeh, Achon Matan Teira. We know, it's known, Sidis explains that the whole Tzias Mitzrayim Kias Yams was really in preparation of Matan Teira. The Teira, Azef, Nas Pnimis. That is the function of Torah that the Nimsham Pnimis canal that is the function of Torah. We learned that where in page Kuf Samach, the Torah brings in the atmosphere of the Pnimis. But when we're going to reach the ultimate expression of that Gilui of Torah, that's going to be lost in love. That will be the Gilui Lamat when Shabbos is soul of this Madrig. That is a Medrash Rabbi Nasa Parshit Beis. Means another marshal of Medrash that talks about Ketana. It says like this in Medrash Rabbi. Marshal Medrash Rabbi Bas Vayoyev Yosef, and a marshal, a king, or the daughter, and he loved her very much. Cholzman Shektana Medaber Mefares. Calls mother child that his daughter was small, he spoke to her in public. He saw even in the yard, he also spoke to her. But Psikta means, so I guess in Psikta adds the Psikta is another medrash. I think it's copying this medrash. He adds a word there. He says, "Hoisa b'shuk medaberim Psikta." I'm not sure what the Psikta mean. No, okay, we'll take a look in a second. Oh, b'shuk medaberim, voice medaberim. Kiman sheigdila ma'en kvoida shall be to medaberim v'faresia. When she matured, he said it's not an honor, it's not right. I should speak to her in public. Also proposing the Davarim. He's told the Eden and told them they should build a pop line, which is up here oil, make a tent, I should speak to. Kach ra Kadosh Baruch Hu Yisrael. Es ist so, dass Mitzrayim haben Naor, und Eibs ist Sodom. Mitzrayim Naorim, they were young. They were young kids. כמו שכוסף, כנער סבא יהווה, מצרים כוסף לשמי. So then, when Eden came out of Mitzrayim in the state of cut, of like a basketana. So then he spoke to them in Yom and Vesina. Call the Faretzi. Achmat Terama. Was, but Achmat Terama said, also with the Eden matured, like in the name of Muslim English. Uksiv. So when he speaks to them only in Oil Moed, she calls him at the Avad, with Chilaya by Zgal, so Hakach, Israel, Shabbat Pnims. So the Indian, he says this marshal of oil versus Faresia means that should be Pnimius. It's not something more internalized. Let me see this medrash. I want to see what does Psikta mean.
It seems like it's quoting from the Pesikta that this statement is the Ra'otra Bashur Medaberimon.
Yeah, but that's Pshat. I want to make sure. Really? One second. Yep, see what come. Show up. Pošto Melchai se basketano עד שהגדילו בוסר דיסימונים הירסה בשוק ודברים בפרסיה, במובו, בחוצה. כמו שהגדילו, אמר לו, המלך אין שפחה של ביטי שם מדברים בפרסיה, אסור לפפרין, צורך לדברים. כך כסיב נער ישראל ויביאו, מצרים, הים, סיני, קיום שעושה תרא, אמר כשבוך, אין שפחה של בני שבונה שמדברים בפרסיה, ויעשה נמידה שצורך לדברים מהם, מדברים מהם, תכף משקל. So I understand what psik does exactly. I'll bring it into our WhatsApp. One second. This is one, but here is okay. The word psik is a little questionable. Like maybe psik. Like I said, in this Shashim Rabbi, here it says it's different. It's Bamidbar Rabbi Nasser. Look it up, okay. Right there, Zeo, there's another pasuk. Zeo okay, now we're going to answer the pasuk that started the Maimon. Zeo Hashem Eilach Lifneim La'amud Ona La'amchesam Aderech. The beginning of the Maimon asked an interesting question. Why do we need the Eibishter should have Amud Onan to guide them? Just tell them where it is, and it's daytime. They'll figure it out. They'll walk there. Why does it have to be Amud Onan? That was the question in the beginning of the mind. Now, like we said, in theoretically, we can say just help them to walk. They shouldn't have to figure it out. But obviously, the Maimon was explain the deeper meaning of it. He says, really, derech means not derech. What does that derech mean? The Maimon is taking the pasuk to a different place. It doesn't just talk about the physical, the journey that they had in the midbar that they walked. Derech really means derech means the path of Torah mitzvahs. Like it says in pasuk, Yadati l'man Hashem, Rabbi Avraham Avinu, Yadati l'man Hashem tzav ezman, but he said, Achra b'shama derech Hashem tzedakah mishpat. זהו דרך תורה מצוות, כמו שכתוב, דכתיב, כשורם דרכי הווי. So דרך תורה מצוות is the שורם דרכי הווי. That's the דרך תורה מצוות. ידוע, then it says, what is the inner, deeper meaning of ישורם דרכי הווי? ידוע, שזה המשוחס הקו. The דרך הווי is also the המשוחס עיר הקו. We said earlier in the Maimon that kav, it is the gilui from the beginning of from the kav is the amshach directly from yourself she's not tzimtzum. It's nimshach directly into ashtashlus from me'avrich min hakotzer hakotzer. So that's the inyan of amshachas hakav. So that's kisham darkei havai. V'b'chinas pnimius. So the Torah is nimshach to the kav, the pnimis. Zeh b'chinas cotton. So that's why it's called cotton. Sheb'chinas tzimtzum v'akbola. Like I said, the first pshat in cotton. Cotton means that it's limited and contracted, like tzimtzum shechnas and bais b'adeor. Sheb'zeh davka pnimis v'atzon zeh kanal. In the concentrating, that's how the pnimis is nimshach. In order to reach that level of darkei havai, which is Torah mitzvahs, and which in turn is mamshach hakav, as I said earlier, Torah mitzvahs, the agbol of Torah mitzvahs, to them is mamshach, the mamshach from the Ensof Shefnet Tzimtzum. As the Omar v'avai lefneim. In order for that to happen, you need the mamshach v'avai lefneim. This is galus that's the Ensof. This is galus that's the Ensof, and choisem aderech to be mamshach this mamshach of Torah and kav. How does it happen? It's because the katnus the neshamas is so. Because bittul the manapshuta. Because they in a state of katnus, which is the bittul of manapshuta. So that brings down the amshachas ha'oyer achakav pnimis. Because there's a bittul of manapshuta. So there the amshach ma'amayla the gilu, and that's and eventually, like we said before, that me'only mitzayim that's zos chavos devash. When you start with this bit of one pshuta, then the imam shall the insaf in pnimis, that it's internalized. So that will answer also the question we asked in the beginning of the Maimon, that expression the Gemara says in Bava Kama, no in the middle of the Amar Rav no in the middle of the Amar Insha kad Avina Zutra Legavra. When I was a child, I was given respect as an adult, as a gavra, as an adult. All of a sudden, when I'm not an adult, I go back to, they look at me as a child. What's pshat? It says, what's the inner meaning of the statement? Avina Zutra Legavra, Avina Zutra, this katnus. Fact that there was no Zutra. Zutra means not even of katnus. Katnus amaychim, the childishness. That brings the gavur, because this was atzim soyer. Zer sibus hagbola shein legavur b'chinas giloyim pnimis. Tavina zuta, because I was in a state of katnus, what we said before, the bittul and the monopshuta and the bitochim, that eventually brings the gavur, brings the maturity. The katnus of the zuta brings the maturity of the guy, which would be the early kish, the benimshach pnimis.
But the pshat is what the Avina Zutra the Gavra, that I was small.
But when we were children, we were like looked up. the Gavra. When we were young, they looked up at us. That's the simple shot. We learned that we saw it in Gemara. And now when we became old, they look at us as children. It's an interesting expression. The Gemara asked, what's the marker? The marker is because Hashem Eilach Lifnei Yomim. Then Malach. That in the beginning of your life, the beginning of Mitzias Mitzrayim was Hashem Avaya Eilach Lifnei. That's Gavod. Means when you were a child, you get the Gilui from Avaya, and later when you mature, it's only Malach. That's what the Gemara says. He says now Pshat, the remez in that expression. Davina Zuta Legavra. After the Shishna, Legardika, he says, Davina Zuta means that two Zuta, two Katnus, you reach Legavra. You reach the high level of Amshach Pnimis, of the Gadlus, Amshach Pnimis, Matzes. The Shishna Legardika, Yeshlaim Hashem Gam Kias Galas Mimenu. So that's what means when I'm an adult, I still have the Dardika, I still have that amun of pshuta of a child. That's only kiyas galas. The gam betachas hagdol. It's a bit shmaktinim asma. Even when he reaches the highest madriga, he's still a dadik. He still looks himself as a child. Means he still has that bittul shmaktinim asma. Okay. Again, so the two parts of that expression. One of them says that the bittul will eventually, the bittul and the amunah bitachon will eventually bring you all the way to the highest madrega of gila and soft and mature way. The second part tells you that even when you reach the highest madrega, still lo yasam imenu, you maintain that bittul that you had as a child. That's what the Gemara says. Adminan and Mila, because the pasuk says v'avayelach lifneim v'oda onin l'shalech malach. It says. When then in the beginning when they came out of Mitzrayim, these galus were katnus, because they were in a state of katnus because they were in the katnus like a child. There's the innocence of the child, so that brings out the etzem and the shama. Okay, they're going to miles, gas up, and so that's why I violate name, the Abish, which means the Gila of Atzmas himself, but the ultimate purpose is shiur student should be just stam emun. That should eventually express itself in the pnim is the way to the mitzvahs. V'zelan chaysam aderech, that the purpose of a violate of name, the Gila, is they should reach that the Shama Derech Havai last day Kumish, but the beginning of Torah mitzvahs.
Going to Kitzur.
Okay, let's go back to the Kitzur now. Kitzur on page 36. Page 36. All right, name Yomam Lovin Mayin Ma Oya on the Nitzachland Chayse. Inish week she saw it's Mitzrayim Pnes Katas. Didn't the game at the Mitzrayim Shannon Akamuna Shamal Moshe. That's what remember it says that Eden at the Katas Loy Shamal Moshe Miketz Ruach. Ini and the Indik not necessarily Nikalev. Necessarily called Lev Shalev Makabel Ma'amay Chakam Mashpel Shalev. Lev, the function of the lev is the Kabel Ma'amay Mashpel Shalev. Well, that's the Knesset Sof. As far as that Tzilus, Kabelas as that Tzilus Mashpata Bibiyah. That's the Knesset Sof. Malchus is the like the lev that just like the function of the lev is to be mamshach from the moich and the rest of the body. So the Knesset Sof is like Malchus and Kabel from the Tzilus and the spheres of Tzilus Mamshach and Biyah. There's the reason the Shama Mata Leres HaChesed. Similar to the Shama, also is Meir the Cheshach to be Mamshach Milamayla into the Mamutza Mamshach Milamayla Mata. Voal de Avedas Amidis. So that's why it's called Leah because he can avoid his midas. Shai, but never Shabbos he can midas. Lachain he can be able to feel. Shows me a midas of Shalkis. Also, Davke the midas from Shach Minasech. Shows Davke poyer in midas. Okay, so that's the Chagav. That's in of midas. זה שישראל נקראים לב, דו avoid of Nesamidah שקיים עם השכל, על ידי זה נסבר נפש הבאמס. בלב יש קטנוס וגדלוס. But the lev itself is katnus and gadlus. Sometimes the lev is in a state of katnus. Second. And it's not a caliph for Gilead. That's the name of Shalom Moshe Meketz Ruach, because there was the lev is not a caliph. The lev is like Timtum Alev. But it's still the neshama, the lev has something special that even with lacks that gilui, still has the emunah. That's when neshama kushat tamid ma'atzmus. V'zein bayam na'om the be'emunah v'tziam mitzrayim v'izras emunah b'teik. Okay, Siam Sef Ksiv, Vayel Chavaya Samayam Beruach Kodim, Nisav Kamer Shaloylo, Akshabetkat Shaloylo Pnimis. There was the Gilui, but there was the Katnis. Valdech Moshe Shaveno Kot Nazav Shaveno Betek Vizgal, Shemchav Kamenach. Just like when a child is small, the Av of the Avish from the father is stronger. There's love, there's hugging, there's kissing. But the expression of the love is in insignificant things. When the child matures, love is not as much visgalus. At the same time, it's more pnimis. Even calls cotton always, not just when it's yes mitzrayim. The miles of cotton or based in yon. So there are really 2 miles in the cotton. All of shakatnos in seems to agvol. Yaakov nika cotton. Nishash when it's a tikkun share about seems to agvol. But seems to say yes the kolatz. It's actually something to share with pnimis. So it's like seems to shkenosim based by the own. The seems to means he concentrates. Is less begilui, but the purpose is that the makabel should be able to handle it. The makabel should be able to internalize it. In a base of Maasakotten, Shmaknesatzmi. Then there's another thing, Maasakotten, Shmaknesatzmi. It's humility. That's the cause of the beetle. The minor of one is bit like not only that, minor of one is the union of the Amshach is the selling the stach. Void Masa cotton, then the third mile of the cotton is Shaim Beachachma de Tzadas, Veda Tarbol, it's Tzadas, mile of Shaman Mishtashis. Third mile of the cotton is that he lacks that the Tzadas, the trickery of the wisdom. Because it's innocent, it's the innocence. That's my mile of the so the Eden in a state of katnus, but that is the Achon. So name that's so because the Eden in a state of katnus, but there was the Emunah for Gas and Shama. Okay, there Gamkin, there were mile of Princess Gas, that's so. So we get the point of this mime. The idea of the mimer is that katnus, the mile of katnus, that the child has the bittul and the tzimtzum and the innocence, the munam bitachon, and that eventually brings the amshachim l'mayim. All right, let's go to the next line.
I'm sorry, but in the beginning it said that because of when they got out of Mitzrayim,
yeah, Moshe is chachma. They l'shama. They were not kenim for chachma. Because They were in a state of like they didn't have the maturity to understand, to receive it. They're not caring for that high level of Chachma of Moshe.
But we say the entire Mamre is talking about the Castros, the Milo, the Katon,
Yeah. That's the mile. When someone Moshe gets out, that's the define that that's showing that they were cotton. They had the cottoness, but eventually that cut, that Leshon Moshe is a chisaron. There's a chisaron of a cotton. He's immature. He doesn't have the capacity to get the whole point, the gilui and so, because he's too small. He doesn't have the seichel. He doesn't have the midas. There was a lack of that. There was the lack of the spirit. Yeah, that's
but then it talks about the inyonim of the mind of the Katanus and the whole thing. So
and first, it defines what does it mean to have a cotton. Cotton means loishomu. Cotton is someone who lacks that ability to feel the chachma, the madrega of chachma. He couldn't. That's what he said. That's what happened. That's what Shamal Moshe means. That's the katnus. But he says that katnus eventually brought them high because they had the emunah bitoch, they had the bittul. So they couldn't. They were not kalim from Moshe's madrega of what he said. I'm shach of gilolikus. They were not kalim for that, but because they had the emunah pshuta and the bitochen. Eventually, eventually that took him. That was a kale, like I said, that like alpidarka. He started with the low grade, and eventually that turns into the higher grade. Because there's a mile. The leshama maish is takachison. There's a mile. The bittul and the bitoch and the emunah. Yeah. And so again, the pasuk leshama maish, that was to show that was to show that they're in a state of katnus. That's the koitzer ruach is the katnus. Katnus halev. The ruach is the lev. Like I said, nefesh ruach neshama is mayach lev kovid. The koitzer ruach is the katnus halev. Leishama el meishem koitzer ruach. And that is eventually that brings them to the gadlus.
As it says in.
Exactly. That's not just smod nachon. That's what triggers the emunah bitochen. That's what triggers eventually. That's al pidark of the now. There's no tachbulas, there's no gaiva. That eventually brings the goddess. Shabbos Israel first. Cholam Ram Sakaris Salpidim Skala Sheif. Hisamed Shabbos Mois Perik Hey Ado Hudeksi. This pasuk is Maram is another pasuk in Tanakh. What's the pasuk? That's a pasuk in Eiv. Go. Pasuk in Eiv. It says in pasuk. Yarem Kale Bakoile Niflois Isa Gedolos Evelyn Neder. Was meint das was? Let's see. Says the Metsudis, Ina Kale Yarem Bakoile Ramas and Niflois. The Eberster with his voice will make thunders. I shall shaman of Nedoim. מה אם הייתה גדולה של עצמנו, אנחנו לא יודעים. עושה גדולה. The Rebbe makes the koile niflois, wonders, and oisa gdoilas v'lei neder. Then he also does things that we don't know. That's the lashon of the pasuk in Iyeh. Says the Medrash that the pasuk in Parshas Isra, Chol Hamorim Sakas Lapidim, Ado the ksiv yarem keil b'koile niflois. Mao yarem keil. מה yarem? Shalos Nakadosh Baruch Hu Torah b'sina hera b'koile l'Yisrael pilei ploi. That's what the Medrash says. Gave the Torah to Eden. Sinai. So, but his voice, Bekoiloi, showed the Eden, ploy, ploys. So, loving. Okay, it's time. This brings the Medrash. But the question he asks is not after the Medrash. So, why was there such a huge thunder and rash, which means a lot of noise? What is the excitement of Matan Torah? The mitzvahs that the Aseres idea was able to tell Matan Torah are simple things, obvious things. Something obvious that our own mind tells us we have to do it. Now, even if the Eibusha wouldn't give us this mitzvahs, just because of a natural human humanity, but Adam Basho Adam, the human being, just being that is human, he would observe it, he would stay away from it. But Erev of course some of the base is actually the Gemara says in Erev. Even when the Chas V'Shalom, the Eibusha wouldn't give Torah, and made him Tznias Mechasel, he would learn Tznias from a cat and Gezel from an ant. See, even Balei Chaim that were not commended anything, they also stay in a state of Tznius and Gezel. So the human being, because he's about seichel, he has the intellect, he would on his own come up with it. Al Kaponim, he could have learned from the other creatures. So why is the big task of Matan Torah, the Ram and Rash God? One second, what was that? 1 second. Okay, all right, we'll continue tomorrow.
Oh,
All of a sudden I look yesterday, it's dead already again.
yeah.